eating more food can actually be really challenging. Sometimes actually getting to the amount of food that your body needs, maybe based on your metabolic rate or whatever your goals are, can be really hard. I have a lot of people telling me, hey, I know you want me to eat X amount of food, but I have no idea how I'm actually going to get to that amount in a day. So let's talk about some tips that we can use to do that. First and foremost is going to be adding calorically dense foods to your day. Things like that would be nuts, trail mixes, avocado, oils, cheese, even protein bars, peanut butter, stuff like that that's going to be pretty small in terms of volume, but pretty calorically dense. For example, you can find quite a few protein bars out there that have 250, 300 calories in it, and that is only this big, right? The reason I point out that is because oftentimes people who are struggling to take in enough are eating really large volumes of food that are lower calorie. So for example, they'll have a massive salad that's mostly all vegetables, maybe some chicken and some dressing, which is fine, but in terms of caloric density, that's not a whole lot, right? Because a huge salad, 1 cup of leafy green vegetables is about 20-25 calories. So if you have a huge salad, I don't care if that's 3 or 4 cups of leafy greens, we're still only at about 100 calories. Whereas if you can add more of the calorically dense things, it makes it so that you're actually getting to your calorie needs for the day without having to add more and more volume. Now, before we move on, of course, this does come with its own set of issues. Unfortunately, a lot of the foods that I just listed have kind of been vilified in our society. Diet culture has made it seem like these foods are bad because they're calorically dense. They're oftentimes the food that these fad diets are telling you to limit, or they're the food that's been labeled as red. But we have to try to move away from that mentality. These foods are a great way to add enough to your day, and a lot of them that I listed are perfect sources of protein and fat, and again, are really good for caloric density to make sure that you're fueling your body enough. The other issue sometimes with these foods is, as I mentioned in my video the other day, about fear foods. Many times these foods are on that fear food list for individuals with eating disorders, which is just adding to the importance of really working on getting these fear foods added back into your meals to make sure that you can work on increasing and getting to 100% of your meal plan. Now, number 2, as a way to get in some more calories for your day, is actually to space out your meals. A lot of people take the tactic of doing 3 meals and maybe 2 snacks or something in the day, which is fine. And if that works for you and you can add to those, go for it. But if you're getting really, really full and you're finding that strategy just isn't working, space it out and do 6 meals in a day, right? There's no rule that at 10 a.m. that has to be a morning snack. That could be a meal too. So if you need to, space it out. Another tactic though, if you don't want to do 6 meals and you do want to keep the snack options, is just make sure that all of your snacks are the really calorically dense foods that I mentioned. So for example, maybe your afternoon snack is a protein bar and apple with peanut butter. That way you've got quite a bit of calories for not a whole lot of volume. Now, tactic number 3, and this will be the last one, but tactic number 3 is actually going to be blending things up. Put things in a smoothie. You can actually get a lot of calories out of a smoothie. Let's say you make a fruit smoothie, right? You could throw in yogurt, peanut butter, maple syrup or honey. You could throw in chia seeds, a protein powder. There's a lot that you can really put into a smoothie and still make it taste good. And then that's something that you can sip on. Sometimes when people are working on taking in more food, it comes down to just they don't have time to be sitting there and eating a whole meal. So a smoothie is a good way to take that in the car on your way to work, or have that as your morning snack sitting at your desk while you're doing whatever you've got to do, right? But smoothies are a really, really good way to, again, kind of condense some foods. And sometimes if you're feeling really full with the amount of food that you need to get in, it's a good way to eat those calories, get those calories in without having to, again, eat large volumes of food, and you can sip on it and it might be easier on your stomach. Now, all 3 of these things are really good ways to work on getting in enough. I know it seems a little bit backwards, but you may want to work on not doing as many vegetables. Keep them in your days, but just do a little bit less and focus on adding some of these foods that we mentioned, and you'll probably be able to get a lot closer to that meal plan goal that you're working on. Thanks for being here, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.